In this video, we will be walking through the process of filling out and submitting our career ladder plans in Frontline, as well as getting the correct copy of our career ladder log template to use for logging hours this year. Follow along in this video as we complete these steps, pause as you need to, and please make sure for this assignment that you have completed both tasks. First, to complete our career ladder log, we need to log into Frontline. So, let's go to our Rolla Public Schools folder, click on Frontline, make sure we click on the Sign In with Organization SSO link, and then enter your email here. Click that blue button, and then we'll follow through with our Google login. And then once we're logged in, we're going to click on Frontline Central. Remember, if Frontline automatically logs you in to either Absence Management or Frontline Central, you can always come right up here and switch between the two sites. So if you don't have the option when you first sign in to select Frontline Central, you can do it from right here. And now that we're in Frontline Central, we need to go to My Forms, and then we're going to click on Forms I Can Start. In this list, we need to find the Career Ladder Plan 25-26, and on the right side, we're going to click Start This Form. It is very important here that you do not click this button more than once. Pushing that more than one time can cause the form to get started more than one time, and this causes a lot of issues on the back end for the people who view these. So please make sure you only click the button one time. If for some reason the site does not redirect you to fill out the form, or if your page freezes, you can always go back to that forms area and click on current forms to see if it did start a form for you. All right, once we are in the form, we just need to fill in all of our fields. Select our building. Select the stage that you should be at for the 25-26 school year. And then the date that you submitted. Click these boxes, and then all you have to do is click this Submit Form button. Another important request from our Career Ladder Committee is that you please do not fill out and submit this form more than once. Last year, we had several people submit the form more than one time, so there were duplicate entries submitted by teachers, and each duplicate submission has to be cleared out one by one. So once you've completed the form, make sure you don't come back into Frontline and do this again. If you're not sure whether you have completed the form or not, after you've submitted a form, you can always come into the My Forms area and check to see if you have completed one. So for example, I just submitted mine, so I can go into Sent Forms and I can see right here that I have submitted this. Now once my form gets approved, it'll fall under my completed forms. So anything I've completed in the past is going to be in this list. All right, now that we've completed our plan, we need to get a copy of the correct template for the Career Ladder log. To get this, you just need to go back to your Back to School Google Classroom, and in the Career Ladder assignment, you're going to click on a link right here for the Career Ladder log template. So just click this. When this page comes up, you're going to select Make a Copy, and this is going to force a copy of the Career Ladder log template into your Google Drive. So you can see right here, I now have my copy of the template. Once the copy opens, you need to first make sure you rename your file. So my recommendation is take off copy of and put in your last name and first initial. And then at the end of the title, I would take off template and let's change that to 2526. Then I recommend putting your file into a location where you will be able to find it in the future. So to do this, I'm going to come right up here to this little folder icon and click the Move button. And then when this pops up, I want to find my career ladder folder that I've made in the past. So I'm going to go right here to all locations, go to my drive, and I'm going to go down to where I have put my career ladder folder. So right here, and I've already made a 2526 career ladder folder. If you haven't made one of those yet, you can click this button to make a new folder. And then once you've created that, you're just going to click the Move button so that your log will go into the correct area. Now, let's come back to the log and let's fill in all of our fields. So first we need to enter our name, the stage that we will be completing this year, our building, and then the number of hours that we will complete for this stage. For now, you'll leave this amendment information alone. That will only be needed if you have to make an amendment to your plan. You'll notice when I selected my number of hours, it automatically filled in the hours logged right down here. So all of the formulas will start working once you select the number of hours you need to get. Filling in the fields on this page will also populate your name on these other log pages. Now, a couple of items to note from the Career Ladder Committee. Please remember that on this log, we will not be adding extra pages or tabs. Instead, we will just add extra rows on the pages where we need them. To do this, if you go down to the bottom of your log, let's say I've got all of my rows filled in to right here, but I know I'm going to need a lot more because I have 6 months left of the school year. I can select everything from here down. The only thing I do not want to get to is the very last row, because if I do that, it's going to mess with the formula. So I can insert rows by selecting and dragging as many rows as I need to, or as many rows as I can that are empty, up to the last one. Then I'm going to right click and say insert 5 rows below. And you'll see that it inserted 5 more rows for me on my tutoring log. And I can do that as many times as I need to. So if I know I'm going to need, 20 more rows, I can just go ahead and do that 4 times, and now I've got 20 extra rows added on my page. Also remember that on these pages for the goal section, if it has a little icon like this, that means that there is a drop down, and our committee has added the goal that would most likely fit this particular activity. So if I've got a tutoring action that I've added right here, TL 1.1, that CSIP goal is the one that would most likely fit best. However, if I know I need to choose another goal, I can select other. But make sure if you put other here that you also add in the goal in parentheses along with the action that you have put information in for. Specifically with tutoring, we also need to have initials of the student that we were tutoring or a student that we were working with. If you're not sure about goals, remember that on the last tab of your Career Ladder log, there is a tab that says Guide, and you can go click this link to bring you to a guide of information about our Career Ladder. It gives us a how-to for the Career Ladder log. We have important dates that we need to be aware of for Career Ladder this year. We have different category definitions for what you can put on those log pages. And then down here at the bottom, you'll find all of our CSIP goals that will work for different areas on your Career Ladder log. Another important point the committee asked me to cover is that we make sure when we are entering our time on the log that our total columns on each page, the time increments can only be in quarter increments, such as 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, or the total hour. So for example, if I have an entry here and I've put my student's initials in, and if I had a different goal that I was going to meet, I can do that, but I'm going to actually use the one that goes with tutoring. And then I put a date in here. So let's say my time for this day was 3:30 to 4:45 p.m. So my total time there is 1 hour and 15 minutes. So I'm definitely going to have a 1 for the 1 hour. But then my total for the 15 minutes is actually a quarter of an hour. So I would put 0.25 here for my total time. Another example, let's say under mentoring, I do an activity with some students from 4:30 to 6 o'clock p.m. Okay, so my total there is 1 hour from 4:30 to 5:30, and then I had another half hour, so that's going to be 0.5 for my total. So basically all of our time increments have to be in quarter increments. If I only spend 15 minutes with a student, I'm going to put 0.25 in for my total. If I spend 45 minutes with a student, that's going to be 0.75 for my total. And then of course, if it's just 1 or 2 hours, I'm just going to put the total hour there. But they need to all end in that quarter increment. That will help with reporting at central office when they have to send this to the state, and it just makes it easier for our Career Ladder Committee when they are checking times and reviewing our logs. So please make sure you do that. That may mean that you have to estimate a bit on your time when you put those in right here, but just make sure that our times are ending with a 0, a 0.25, a 0.5, or a 0.75. All right, that wraps up our information for this section. So once you have completed your Career Ladder plan in Frontline and you have gotten your log ready to go and saved where you want it, please mark the Career Ladder assignment as done and you can move on to the next assignment.